Tonight, the U.S. women's national team in Atlanta for a meeting with the Netherlands just 3 days after beating Thailand in a match that was largely overshadowed by events prior to kickoff. Megan Rapinoe attracting national attention for her decision to kneel during the national anthem. What will she do tonight? And how will the U.S. look versus an ever-improving Dutch side? For the reigning world champs, victory is second nature.
She is unstoppable.
That's Lloyd again! Carly Lloyd, she's got the hat trick.
So for Jill Ellis' side, defeat is not only unexpected, but stunning.
When those two combine, it can be deadly.
But dented pride is a powerful catalyst for legends.
Then the cross, back post area, down and down and a goal. U.S. is on the board.
And also, the new generation of American stars.
Crystal Dunn finally gets one there.
Now, the gold standard of women's soccer has a new goal: to restore its aura of invincibility.
Carly Lloyd, no surprise.
Motivation could not be higher for the United States against the Netherlands. Next on FS1. And our pregame show is sponsored by AT&T. We welcome you to Fox Sports coverage of the U.S. women's national team. Rob Stone with you tonight alongside former U.S. international Allie Wagner. So much to get to here in the AT&T pregame. A recap of the tumultuous year that it's really been for this program. Grant Wall is going to join us live with the latest news on Rapinoe. But first, Allie, this is a game that's going to kind of help dictate the future direction of this team.
Well, not just yet. You know, my understanding is these two games are a bit of an homage to the Olympic team. And I think when they originally scheduled it was really going to be a victory tour, but that didn't happen. So now, after these two matches, is when Jill Ellis intends on hitting that reset button and getting all eyes forward on France 2019 World Cup.
Worth being in a good standing before that reset button is hit, though.
Yeah,
the U.S., they
point.
come off, it's called a comfortable win over Thailand in Columbus on Thursday. They scored 9 times. The first one, just 39 seconds into this match, Megan Rapinoe taking a knee during the national anthem. More on that in a moment. The big story, Heather O'Reilly, what a career for her as her final game representing the red, white, and blue. One of the all-time favorites for so many people. Such a wonderful, cheery disposition she has, and it was so much fun to watch. And here's O'Reilly with an assist to Lloyd in the 39 seconds into this one.
She just takes the player. That's what Heo does, is she drives end line, whips that ball in. And I had tweeted to her before the game, I bet you're going to get a couple assists and a goal. And, of course, she gets one in 39 seconds.
Did you say a goal? Did you say a goal?
I might have. Here she comes streaking down the field. And Lloyd, just great awareness to lay that back, easy finish for Heo. But what a night, a way to go out on top of your career.
9-0 the final. Interesting. During that game, not after, U.S. Soccer released a statement in regards to Rapinoe taking a knee, which in part read, quote, "The playing of our national anthem is an opportunity for our men's and women's national team players and coaches to reflect upon the liberties and freedom we all appreciate in this country. As part of the privilege to represent your country, we have an expectation that our players and coaches will stand and honor our flag while the national anthem is played." For more on this story, we welcome in senior Sports Illustrated writer, Fox Sports contributor Grant Wall. U.S. Soccer, by the words, they are clearly not thrilled with Rapinoe's act. Where do they stand, though, as far as maybe doling out some punishment to her?
Well, Rob, after leaving open the possibility, U.S. Soccer has decided not to punish Megan Rapinoe for taking a knee during the national anthem in Columbus on Thursday in solidarity with Colin Kaepernick's protest against police treatment of black Americans. Rapinoe has not said yet what she plans to do tonight. I did talk to one U.S. player, though, who said that while several players support Rapinoe's cause, they don't necessarily support her action of kneeling, adding that several players tried to talk Rapinoe out of taking a knee the other night. Now, the player also said that there's been a lot of discussion within the team about this. This is a very hot topic, and it's one that's only going to continue as we move forward.
Grant, thank you. A little bit more from you later in the show about a potential U.S. strike. We're going to hear from Carly Lloyd about this distraction that is Megan Rapinoe. Has her actions made a change?
Well, that's the question that I have. I mean, it's one thing to take a knee, and say that you want to continue the conversation about this issue that you feel so passionate about. But if you're willing to take a knee in front of the flag during our national anthem, then I want to know what else you're doing to bring about change, to rectify this issue that you feel so passionate about. It's not enough for me. I want to know what you're doing on the outside. Just talking about a conversation. We can have conversations. Politicians talk all day long, and they don't get a lot done. I want to see her partnering with organizations, and I hope she is, and we just don't know about it. But I want to see her partnering with organizations that are, going out there with tangible actions to rectify this, whether that be volunteering her time or donating her money. I just want to know that she's doing other things other than just taking a knee.
I do appreciate her boldness in taking that step, and it certainly has created conversation in certain pockets of my life and other people's life. But yeah, you do kind of want to know what is next as she tries to carry this forward. A lot of cameras, a lot of eyeballs are going to be on her tonight in Atlanta to find out what she does when the national anthem is played. A lot of other intrigue surrounding this U.S. women's program, including the goalkeeper spot. Jill Ellis aside, set to play its second match minus the suspended Hope Solo. Here's the Jill Ellis 11.
Yeah, well, it starts with Nair in goal, and Harris got the start against Thailand. They're going to be fighting out for that #1 spot. And in the back line, usual suspects in the center of back, and Whitney Engen getting a start actually on the right side. And then in midfield, I like Lindsey Horan being inserted in this lineup. She's going to want to pinch in, be more of a playmaker. And then up top, Lloyd had the 3 goals, 4 assists against Thailand. And, of course, Alex Morgan is going to be streaking in behind.
The Netherlands, remember, they reached the round of 16 at the last World Cup. Here's how they begin.
Right, and Van Veenendaal will start in goal. She's 26 years old, plays for Arsenal. In the back line, you've got 2 very experienced center backs. Vandenberg is going to be more of the leader. And then in midfield, Danielle Van de Donk. She's a player who likes to go at players, open things up with her vision. And up top, Miedema is your pure, strong striker who's going to look to finish. But Martens might be, in fact, the best player on the field for the Netherlands.
For more on this one, let's check in with the trio calling the game for you from the Georgia Dome. Mark Farlowill, former U.S. manager Tony DeCicco, and ex-U.S. international Kat Whitehill.
Rob, as the United States gathers together for the first time since the Olympics, obviously you have to look back at the disappointment. But, Tony, when there's disappointment, there's always something to take out of it. There's always something to learn from it, and that's where the United States is as they head forward now in the new cycle.
You're right, Mark. The USA is on a journey to 2019 in the World Cup in France. But there's lessons to learn from the Olympics. One is there was a gap in leadership. You lost Abby Wambach, Christy Rampone. There are good leaders on the U.S., but they're evolving. And you need good leaders when the games are tight, games like Sweden. And then I think they did miss Lauren Holiday in the midfield.
As they get together this week for the camp, there's already been a friendly CAT against Thailand, a 9-0 win for the United States. Tonight, the test will be much more difficult for the U.S. as they face the Netherlands, ranked 12th in the world and preparing to host the Euro 2017s next summer.
And they wanted to test themselves against the best in the world. They're playing the defending World Cup champions in the United States tonight. And then in October, they're going to face the defending Olympic champions in Germany. They don't have to qualify for the European Championships because they're hosting it. So they want to test themselves. They want to see where they are, and they want to see where they need to work. And the best place to do that is right here, right now, tonight.
That's our perspective. Now let's get the player perspective. Our Ginny Taft with the United States, Carly Lloyd.
Carly, on Thursday, Megan Rapinoe made the decision to kneel during the anthem. Has any of the attention you guys have received from that been a distraction?
Yes, I do think it's a distraction on a lot of different fronts, not just involving the players, but staff and, a lot of different people. So it is a distraction, but like we all know, we've dealt with a lot of distractions before, whether that be outside distractions, whether that be, within the team. And we're professionals, and it's our job to go out there and perform regardless of what is happening. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to make it about soccer. We're going to have fun. It's a great opponent, and we're going to be ready.
For the first time in 2 years, there really are no major world championships on the horizon. How does that change your mindset, your approach to facing the Netherlands?
Well, I think, even though this is just a friendly game, this is kind of the start to 2019. For me, I've got a specific role out there, and I want to continue to hone in on that and get better and better, and I know the team does as well. It's been a long couple of years for many of us. So it's just important to go out there and do the best that we can, but we do have a couple of years before a major tournament, and journey is starting now.
All right, Carly, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Lloyd hoping to pick up where she left off against Thailand. She had a hand in 7 of the 9 goals, including bagging her 7th international hat trick. But even Lloyd's exploits unable to calm the waters of what's been really a stormy 2016 for the U.S. women. We're going to delve into their drama after the break. Melissa Nair watched from the bench as Ashlyn Harris picked up the clean sheet Thursday against Thailand, but the 28-year-old getting the nod tonight. It's her 3rd start of the calendar year. Both Harris and Nair thrust into the spotlight after Hope Solo received a 6-month suspension for her comments following the U.S.'s disappointing quarterfinal exit at the 2016 Olympic Games. That episode, just one of several controversies on and off the field that have helped make this the most tumultuous year in program history. Last summer, the U.S. women's national team basked in the glory of its record-setting World Cup victory. Fast forward to September 2016, and instead of more triumph, the ongoing parade of headlines reflects a timeline of turmoil. In Hawaii last December, long simmering resentment at playing on artificial turf saw the players take a dramatic stand.
Very disappointed with the surface, to be honest. It's just not good enough.
Tensions between team and federation ramped up in February when U.S. Soccer filed suit against the Players Union. 5 stars, including Carly Lloyd and Alex Morgan, responded by filing a wage discrimination lawsuit against U.S. Soccer. Then, at the Olympic Games in July, matters took a shocking on-field turn. Olympic failure was compounded by an outburst from Hope Solo that led to her suspension from the team.
Sadly, Hope's post-game comments forced us to make a significant decision. It was a sum total of actions that have unfortunately shone a negative light on our program.
So much going on the field and behind the scenes with this U.S. women's program. A lot of people would say, wow, this is spiraling out of control. You actually find a silver lining in it. What is it?
I do. When I first saw this piece, I said, we've finally arrived. I mean, women's soccer has finally made it. We're in the headlines, and it's not just the 10 minutes before a world event. It's not just the 10 minutes after. We've got our troubled stars. We've got the drama of perhaps a little bit overachieving and then definitely underachieving. We have players that are willing to take a social stand because they have that platform. I mean, this is a team. This is everything that we were fighting for when I was playing, and now this team has it, and now it's learning how to navigate this water from the federation standpoint and from the player standpoint as a unit, and how does this team go forward, and with all eyes towards 2019 in France with the World Cup. And I look at it in another way as well, where, you know, the women lost in the quarterfinals in the Olympics. That means the world's game is getting better. You know, no longer is it a foregone conclusion that they're getting to the finals and maybe not lifting that trophy. So this is all good stuff, and now it's just about figuring out how do we navigate this as a unit, individually and collectively, and keep the eye on the prize.
Abby Wambach continues to make news off the field with her personal dealings. And, of course, Megan Rapinoe, what is she going to do tonight during the national anthem? They have a platform. Just need to make sure they use it and use it properly. Tobin Heath among those looking to help kind of shift the U.S. focus back to the field. But Grant Wall's going to join us next with the latest on a potential work stoppage coming their way in the coming months. Alex Morgan with 2 late strikes after coming on at the half against Thailand and upped her total to a team leading 15 goals this year, and she is in the starting 11 tonight in Atlanta. We're joined once again by Grant Wall. The U.S. women, they made news the past few months with their fight for equal pay. The disputed collective bargaining agreement, it expires awfully soon. So what's next?
Well, Rob, one big question is, will the U.S. women's team go on strike in January? The collective bargaining agreement with U.S. Soccer expires on December 31st, and the players are still demanding equal pay to the U.S. men's team. Now, the next set of talks for the CBA will take place in October. One source on the players' side says that there's a very realistic possibility of a work stoppage in January, knowing that the two sides are still far apart and that there's really not any important U.S. games for a very long time. One player was a little more encouraging, saying there has been some movement on U.S. Soccer's side and that she doesn't want to go through a work stoppage in January. But also keep in mind, this could affect the NWSL. The U.S. Soccer Federation pays the league salaries of the U.S. national team players.
Women throughout the soccer world rightly seeking greater influence within FIFA, but the results so far, Grant, let's call them less than encouraging?
Yeah, less than encouraging. After these gender reforms that were made at FIFA earlier this year, these made sure that there would be 6 female members of the 37-member FIFA Council, 1 from each continent. But right now, the despairing question being asked is, who are these women being elected? I spoke to Karen Espelin. She's a respected former UEFA official who lost a UEFA election this year. And she said, we're seeing a tendency that women with no or limited background in football are elected. Now, there's already 2 worrisome examples here. You have Evelina Kristilin, who just won the female rep spot in UEFA. First thing she did was insult gay athletes this week. In the past, she has had racial slurs that she said about the Indonesian owner of Inter Milan. Then over in Asia, Australia's Moya Don is the most respected women's official in FIFA, and she's facing a real challenge from 2 completely unknown candidates from Bangladesh and, wait for it, North Korea. So things are pretty messed up right now with this situation, and the problem's pretty clear. You have 211 voters. Those are the presidents of the federations. All but 3 of them are men. They appear to maybe want pliable women in there instead of women with a strong voice.
Grant, you've had me shaking my head for about the last 30 to 40 seconds. Unconscionable sometimes, these actions that go on. Grant, thanks for the insight. We appreciate it. Megan Klingenberg, a halftime sub in the win over Thailand, served as a farewell game for one of the legendary figures in the history of the U.S. women's national team program. The Heather O'Reilly story coming up next. Welcome back to the AT&T pregame. MLS on the way to Atlanta next season, and it's a city that's done the U.S. women right. They've outscored the opposition 15-0 in 2 previous matches in the Georgia Capitol, while the Orange Lionesses gearing up to host next summer's European Championships. They're also seeking to avenge a 3-1 defeat to the U.S. in the last meeting between these countries. That was 3 years ago. U.S. manager Jill Ellis now forced to do without Heather O'Reilly. Brought the curtain down on really remarkable international career Thursday in Columbus, honored ahead of the class with Thailand, which represented her 231st appearance.
Circle being completed here.
That smile kind of says it all, doesn't it? What a teammate she's been.
Yeah, by far the best teammate that I ever played with. Just her personality, and she really is that quintessential raw teammate that you want to have by your side.
7th most caps in program history. So no O'Reilly, no Abby Wambach. Who knows the future right now of Hope Solo? So a lot in the lineup conversation that you can line up and say, well, who's in, who's out, how do we go forward? So how does Whitney Engen fit into things going forward?
Well, I think that's interesting because I know that Jill wasn't entirely happy with her performance in the Olympics in terms of her attacking ability. She wasn't playing balls out. She was just playing very safely back there. So I wonder if this is a look at her at outside back as an option for her specifically, but also to solve a problem for the team and be another player out there that's very good defensively 1v1 and what they've maybe been lacking a little bit of. And she's played there. I know that Whitney Engen had 3 games there in her rookie season with Chicago, but she hasn't played there since. So it's going to be a tough task for her tonight.
Over on the U.S. men's side, Jurgen Klinsmann doing some juggling with his goalkeeper situation. And right now, you get the sense Jill Ellis kind of forced to play that game as well. Short term, who knows about long term?
I think it's a good game to have, because you're going to have these 2 very talented goalkeepers pushing each other for the #1 spot. She's made that clear. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, she said she's looking to bring in a 3rd, a 4th goalkeeper to really vie for this #1 role. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone from the outside gets a little sniff in here in the next few years. I mean, this isn't a quick turnaround to pick your #1 goalie for 2019.
It's been years since anybody got a sniff in goal because Hope Solo just owned and dominated that position. The U.S., they actually lost their first match versus the Dutch. That was back in 1991, looking, though, to make it 6 straight victories since that defeat. The world's #1, they kick it with the Dutch next.